Welcome to Pedalboards of Doom news. This week we're doing it a little bit different, but before I tell you why, first off, let me just say we try to bring you the news every week, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and the little bell and these sort of things, and we'll bring you that every single week. Also, on top of that, we do videos of demos and these sort of things and different pedals every week. One of the gentlemen who does that is this guy. Oh my god.
Oh, there we go. I'm trapped in a box. I'm trapped in a box. Get me out.
So we're going to talk about the news together this week and, just see how that goes, because it might be a little bit interesting.
Indeed. Yeah, it's kind of crossover between Pedalboards of Doom YouTube and the Fret Talk podcast.
It's pretty cool. So
there's a plug for you. So what are we talking about firstly? What are we saying?
You've got it in front of you. We could talk about should we hit the Ibanez AZES?
The Ibanez AZES, okay.
Yes.
What do you want to say about them? So Ibanez have released a revision of a series that they released 2 years ago, the AZ series.
Yeah. We've had mixed opinions about them, haven't we, between us in general about the original lot of Ibanez's, AZs.
Yeah. The ones that I've managed to play have all left me a bit, just a little bit cold. I really wanted to like them, and they never really struck that chord with me.
Mm. And to summarise, my experience was that when I played the Indonesian one, I think they're Indonesian, they were, it wasn't amazing, it wasn't everything everyone promised them to be, but when I played the Japanese one, I fell in love with it completely. I really, really loved it. So these don't sit in that realm, do they, to the new ones? They are actually a much, much lower price version.
Absolutely. So they are the Ibanez AZ ES, which stands for Essentials, and their marketing spiel says all of the stuff that you need and none of the stuff that you don't, pretty much.
Yeah.
So they've stripped back all of the superfluous stuff, and you're just getting at the core of it the AZ model. So what have we got? We've got two different types. We've got an HSS version and a standard Strat 3 single coil version. And both of them come as standard with the selector switch. So you get like your standard HSS or SSS 5-way blade switch, but you also get some series and parallel switching and coil splits with that humbucker as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, if these are good, if these are going to be the next Classic Vibe or the next Pacifica, then this is great. I have said it time and time again. I've been tempted to sell all my guitars and get something like a PRS or an AZ or something along those lines, because it does it all. But then again, I really like my guitars, so I'm actually not going to do that. But I think so many people have got an RG or something when they first start out, and they just don't feel nice because of those wizard necks. They're too flat.
I've still got my RG, mate. I absolutely love that wizard neck. It's different, but it's they're very playable. I've not played an Ibanez guitar that hasn't been like tremendously playable.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember hurting my hands on playing like an RG. I think it was like a 350 or something like that, on the locking nut and stuff like that, because it was so rough. So like you're playing and you're like cutting your hands on the fret ends and these sort of things. This was a long time ago, so I'm sure that they've improved. Well, I hope they have anyway. But I think that these are going to be more comfortable to play. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think they're going to feel more like a strap, more like something that is a bit more just comfortable to learn on.
Yeah, I mean they mentioned that these they borrow the AZ ergonomic neck profile, so you're gonna be getting something a bit more classic feeling, a bit more vintage feeling, rather than those speed shreddy necks. And it's a very very comfortable fretboard raid as well. So it's all pointing towards like Ibanez's take on those classic instruments.
Yeah,
Which the AZ series was originally anyway. It was kind of like a classic modern one. It was their take on that kind of Sir market.
Yeah, I think the AZ kind of is for the metal player who grew up a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Modern appointments, but vintage temperament almost.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you're at the stage of wear out and you look at something that's got like a wizard neck on it or something like that, you know what it is, you know what to expect, and when you go to play that, you understand what it's doing. But when you get a guitar like that as your first guitar, you automatically think all guitars are like that. Because that's your only experience, that's your only reference point, isn't it? And I think with this, it's going to open up that sort of Ibanez build quality. Hopefully these are going to be much better than the ones I experienced many moons ago. And I have played some wonderful Ibanez's since. Some really, really good ones, but they were much more expensive as well. So yeah, I really hope that these are going to be what they promise to be. Now they don't come with the roasted maple, do they?
So yeah, the things that they take away from the premium lines, you don't get your roasted maple necks, you don't get stainless steel frets, you don't get locking tuners. So they're taking all those premium features away. The fretboards are is it Jatoba? But
Okay.
I've heard a few places say that the Jatoba is roasted as well, so you get the feel of a roasted neck without the price point of a roasted neck. But you're also getting a bespoke trem system with very ergonomic and comfortable rounded saddles.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, which is I thought that was a very nice step for them to have taken, where they could have easily have taken just a standard Wilkinson or whatever Goto tremolo system that was already on the market.
You know what else they've done on here on the HSS one is the one that's got the trem on it anyway, because I think one of them is a hardtail as well. But the trem arm doesn't have the white bit on the end that you often get on the cheaper Strat copies and these sort of things. So it's just like the straight through, steel arm, and they look quality, even though you're actually getting something less. They look quality, don't they?
Yeah, I know what you mean. The standard trem arms with the white kind of screw on end, it has a cheapness about it. It feels cheap because you get like almost like the stigma that you get with like a black Strat with a white pick guard.
Yeah.
Every cheap Strat copy comes in that, and every cheap Strat copy comes with a cheap whammy bar as well.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you've got a red and white SSS version, and you've got a blue, silver, and black HSS version as well. So they're catering for some standard vintage colours, and the price point is pretty good as well. I think UK we are talking $299 for the SSS and something like $329 for the HSS. So
yeah. So if this was if you were looking to buy either your first or maybe second guitar, would you buy this?
It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say. I mean, the specs look good. And they're a bit cheaper than the classic vibe stuff. Yeah, I think it'd be worth a punt. For myself, they've taken away all of the things that I was looking for in the AZ, which was the roasted neck and the stainless frets. So my money's still on the Charvel for that, the Pro mod.
At that price point, yeah. But how much is the Charvel, the Pro mod?
They're like 700-800 quid.
Yeah, see, that's not going to be your first or second guitar, is it?
No.
That's not the target audience for this. I think I would either go for this or go for the trusted Pacifica. I wish I got a Pacifica when I was first playing, because I saw so many of them, and the ones I played were just so good. Yeah, but I don't know how much a Pacifica is now.
They're around the same price. There was some stuff from 32 Gear Street 3 where they were comparing one of the new AZ Essentials to a Pacifica.
Were they?
Yeah. And they were quite comparable, actually. There was not a lot in it.
You know, both Japanese companies, aren't they? So they both put quite a lot of attention into it. It's not like you're getting something that's coming out of I don't know, off AliExpress or something like that. So yeah, I like to look at these. I think it's a really smart move as well to kind of expand that range, because if someone gets in and they learn on the AZ and then they find that, actually you can upgrade your AZ to something that's quite a lot better, and they're like, well, I'm familiar with this, but I want to upgrade. Maybe if I go to that, I'll be familiar with that, and it will give you that progress all the way to the end to get the Japanese one eventually.
Yeah, same happens with Yamaha though as well. They've got pro versions of the Pacificas. Yeah,
I think when you get, I don't see very many people playing the pro versions of Pacifica. You see quite a lot of people with the pro AZs, including signature artists that we know of. So yeah, are there any Pacifica signature artists like you can think of? I know that there are, but I can't think of them off the top of my head.
The Mike Stern has got it's Pacifica inspired, but it's like a T shape rather than a S style.
Gotcha. Yeah,
but there's not many Yamaha signature artists that I can name, to be fair.
Cool. What's next up, man?
We've got a bit of news from Boss.
Ooh.
What have they been doing? What are
they up to? Who could have known?
So they've brought out a revision for the Waza Air. So the Waza Air, obviously the headphone amp with the gyroscopic, whatever they called it, the
gyroscope,
the audio gyroscope, where you can kind of place an amp based on the position of your head, which was great technology, so much so that it impressed you and you bought a set yourself.
Yep. Love them.
They've now bought out.
Absolutely love them.
Bought out. Yes, you do. Yes, it says that here. They've bought out a bass version. So they're looking to cater for the bass guitarists of the world.
I'm a bit confused by this. I honestly thought it was going to come out as a software update. I don't understand what's different about them.
Largely nothing. I mean, they're the same thing, but you've got 5 bass amp types built in rather than was it 4 or 5 guitar amps?
It's the same as Katana, so I think it's 5. I think you've got
an acoustic setting, isn't there? And then there's
you've got like just a clean flat setting. You've got acoustic. You've got, I think then you've got blues. You've got overdrive, and then you've got like the brown as well.
Brown, yeah, as well. I don't think this mirrors that, but I'm not entirely sure of the 5 amp types. We've got 30 effects built in that are apparently optimized for bass guitar, so perhaps you're going to be seeing quite a bit of crossover with the two.
No, that does make a bit of sense. I still think that could have been a software thing, though.
Yeah. I mean, but how many bass guitarists have got Waza headphones?
I just mean, like, a lot of guitarists play bass. Like, case in point, right? So, and for the listeners there, I'm just pointing at my bass behind me. I've been playing bass quite a lot. I've actually been talking to a few bass companies about getting some bass gear in because when you're recording, you do like to use your bass stuff. Now, if I want to practice my bass stuff, do I need to now go out and buy a separate set of Waza Airs?
Yes, I think you do. I don't think this is necessarily marketed at yourself. You are a guitarist who happens to have a bass. Like you play bass occasionally. Your love is for the guitar. This is definitely for those who are bass centric. So they will be unlikely to have, because if they're like the opposite version of you and they occasionally play guitar, they're unlikely to have bought a set of Waza headphones for like 400 quid.
We know quite a few bass players who play guitar a fair bit, though, don't we? Like Mr. Andrew Bimson comes to mind. He's at the heart a bass player, isn't he?
Yes, but he's definitely delved into the world of guitar effects, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's come over into the dark side, hasn't he? But yeah, that I would say you're more likely to find most bass players have a guitar. Most bass players I know have a guitar.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bass. I've got two, in fact. But do I practice that instrument as much as would justify me buying a set of headphones? Nope.
No one's going to buy both sets. Was there anything else it was optimized about that wasn't just software? Like, are the speakers in them different?
No, I don't think they are, no. But you've obviously, like, if you've got bass amp modelling for it, that will be optimized for the frequencies of the bass guitar. I assume the headphones have got like FR drivers in there, so it doesn't really matter what's going into it.
You think so, yeah? Because they're good for music, like listening to music and stuff as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm fairly interested in these and seeing what they can do. I'd be interested to see what the audience thinks about them. Because I think the Waza Airs were a little bit controversial for people. They were a little bit Marmite. Some people loved them, some people hated them. So I'm interested to see what people think about the bass ones.
And how are you getting on with your Waza headphones? Considering you've had them for about probably a good 6 months now, haven't you?
I think I got them late last year, didn't I? So
probably coming up to a year.
Yeah, I love them. I use them all the time. They're fantastic. You can just sit there in the living room with your family, and they can be like your kids can be watching the cartoons on the TV, and you just put them on, and you're in a different planet, but you can still keep an eye on your kids, and that's the wonderful thing. If they're sticking their head in the fireplace or something, you're there.
No.
You might not hear them scream, but you can see them scream.
Because the noise cancelling is fantastic.
It's actually pretty good, yeah. So yeah, no, I like them a lot. I've got like a set tone that I use on them pretty much, which is like a rat tone on them, and I love them. They're very, very, very good. One of the best things is just putting on backing tracks on YouTube and just jamming over them. Yeah,
I mean they've got their own built-in backing tracks as well, don't they? There's like a feature. Is there not with that? Because I know that with this, it mentions that there was certain beats that you could access via a Boss app or something.
Maybe that's an update they're doing then, because I've been hoping that there was an update coming for them. So there's some breaking news for you. Maybe there's an update coming for the Waza Airs where you can actually get some bits and pieces. I know one of the issues is if you're on YouTube and then you come off of it to change the parameters, change the settings on using the app. Obviously, when you come off of YouTube, it stops playing unless you've got the premium version, and I don't. So yeah,
get out of here, money bags.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a faff, and it's not Boss's fault. That's YouTube itself. It's not that's not Boss's fault that YouTube decides to stop playing when you come off of it. But Spotify, for instance, something like that has the ability to come off of it and to still keep playing and to edit the app and stuff like that. So yeah, I like them. Overall, they're really, really good. I use the gyroscope a lot less than I thought I would, because what happens is it's not the headphones' fault. It's my fault. If you look to the left, look down, move like that, go up, the gyroscope doesn't register it like that. So effectively, I've looked up.
Yeah, it has a drift on it, doesn't it? I remember you saying that, actually.
Yeah, and it's not as a result of any flaw with the headphones at all. It's just because I look at my guitar when I'm playing far too much.
But then again, like, who's not looking at their guitar whilst they're playing?
Joe Satriani.
I mean,
he's going like
yes,
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it is bad habit looking at your guitar when you're playing. You should be using your ears, not your eyes.
Indeed. However, it is something that happens, something that people do, and when you if it is a practice tool, you'll be looking at what your hands are doing if you are practicing. So.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. Or looking at your phone because it's sat on your lap and you don't have like a music desk, a music stand out with the phone on it going like that. You just don't. The point of the Waza Eras is less gear. You got your headphone, you got your wireless connector, you got basically guitar and some headphones, and you've got all your effects, you got all your amps and all these tones and that sort of thing. To then go and put something else in front is a bit of a pain. To set other bits and pieces up. So what have we got next?
Right, so our final bit of news for this week is Walrus Audio. They've released a distortion pedal.
Have they?
Which they are saying is like the be-all and end-all of distortion. It is called the Eras. And the reason why they are saying that is because it is multi-faceted. It has got so the controls from top left going downwards. So you've got volume, blend, and gain. So it's got a blend control on it, which is, as we know from the TateFX and Eras, a blend control is just top quality. But then you've got bass, and then you've got mode in the center and treble. And this mode control, very similar to the Xander Effects diode selection.
How are you spelling this?
ERAS. Eras.
Eras.
So mode 1 is LED clipping, but LED hard clipping with a very slight mid scoop. Mode 2 is silicon hard clipping, so a slightly different flavor diode clipping.
Yep.
Again, hard clipping, slight mid scoop. Number 3 is dual clipping mode, which is silicon and LED.
Okay.
With the most compressed version of the clipping. And then 4 is LED hard clipping with a severe mid scoop. And then 5 is silicon hard clipping with a severe mid scoop. Okay. This looks fairly interesting because it's interesting how the mids are kind of like decided via the clipping type and the mode, because you don't actually have a mid control on there. Yeah, I mean it's similar to stuff like the Timmy, the EHX Crayon, the TC pedals as well, the Dark Matter, the Mojo. I think maybe the Rottweiler distortion as well, all have that 2-band EQ. So you set the mid by setting the other 2 controls.
Right, so it's an active. I see. So the bass and the treble are cut and boost.
I don't know whether it's active or not, but you by cutting away treble and bass, you're then making the mid more prominent, surely.
Yeah, so that's usually what happens. Usually, from my understanding, I think Brian Wampler was saying about this on the active ones. Basically, at 12 o'clock, it's neither up nor down, and if you want to boost the mids, you turn it down a bit because the mids are at 12 o'clock as well, but fixed, and you give it a mid hump by turning them down, and you give it a mid scoop by turning them up. There was a lot of talk about mid scoops with this, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, so because it's a distortion pedal, there's mid scooping going on. So you've got the first 2 modes are a type mode, so it's a gentle mid scoop with those 2, and then the final 2 are rhythm modes, which has got a more severe mid scoop, so giving you that kind of thrashy style EQ with the mids being scooped out.
Yeah, I like the look of it. The overall look of the kind of like the ball with wings. On the red background. Is that sort of claret colour, isn't it? So there's a lot of black going on, black knobs on it as well. It's giving that sort of impression of a metal pedal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a very strong aesthetic to it for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the Walrus pedals look really great. They really do. Okay.
I mean, my concern here is that this pedal is $199, so probably talking very similar pounds wise.
Yeah.
The guitar pedals that I've been demoing for Pedalboards of Doom recently, the Xander Surplus and the Xander Cranium, offer you 8 different diode switching, and with the Surplus, you've got basically 2 channels. You've got 2 foot switches for 2 channels. So 2 different versions of drive. With the Cranium, you've got basically like a boost mode, which maxes the gain and gives you a volume on the 1 foot switch. So you can have like heavy mode, and then your less heavy style, but they're basically like 150 quid, and
you get much more.
Well, yeah, on paper that you're talking much more there, aren't you?
Yeah, I think Alex is killing it at the moment. You know, his pedals are really, really good. There is an element of option paralysis with them. You got to be honest. You know, I do like Alex a lot, and his pedals also I like a lot, but there are a lot of controls on them. This is a little bit more simple. I suppose it's got that going for it, but more is more.
Yeah, I mean, having the 8 options and using only 5 of them.
Yeah,
is like you've still got those other options to explore. And yeah, I mean, mentioning Alex as well, we've got a little bit of an advertising campaign going on his socials at the moment about the Duplo 2.
Yes, it's not like even the Duplo's been out that long.
No.
I need to talk to him about that. Just get some details on what's going on there. I'm sure there's a very good reason he's done that. And look, back to this Eras. I'm guessing Eras is the name of the fly ball.
Yeah, the Greek beast.
I'm usually really down with those sort of things and know a lot about them, so I'm a bit shocked that I don't on this. I probably do. It's probably part of something. God knows.
Probably part of something.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm thinking like correct. Jason the Argonauts or something along those lines, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But would you buy one?
No, I wouldn't.
Because of the aforementioned cranium, the Xander stuff.
Partly because of that, partly because I don't need a distortion pedal. I'm very much a much more reserved kind of tone. And I listened to the product demo of this, and there was lots of songs. There was like some Linkin Park riffs going on. There was Blur song 2, and all of these tracks are like, yeah, they're cool tracks. They're not tracks that I play.
Wasn't song
they're not
2
the kind of style
a
that
rat?
Yes, possibly, yeah.
We do like our rats, don't we?
That we do.
Yeah. Do you know what? For me, I probably would buy this.
I mean, you are a distortion kind of guy.
Yeah, I also really, really like the design.
Yeah, it is very, very strong, isn't it?
Yeah, I like how it's got. It looks very easy to dial in. I also quite like the idea of the blend, the clean blend.
Yeah.
So being able to just get some really, really aggressive tones and then just dial in a little bit of clarity, just to keep those lead tones sweet. Especially if you're going mid scoop, when you dial back in the blend, you're getting some of that mid back as well.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I'm actually pretty okay with this one. I like it a lot. I agree what you said with like alternatives, but I can see the merit of this one on its own as well.
Oh yeah. I'm not poo-pooing the idea. I think it's very well done, very well executed. Just maybe not for me.
Yeah. And if you were a bass player looking for a practice tool, what do you reckon on the Waza Eras?
Yeah, possibly. For practice with bass at the moment, I've got bass models on the HX Stomp.
Ah, yes.
So I use that.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, if you've checked out any of the Budget Pedal Chap PBOD videos, the bass on that is likely me going through the HX Stomp.
Do you know what I think I'm going to try? I think because you remember I said the Waza Airs have got that flat response setting.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to plug bass into that.
Okay.
And see how it comes out, because I reckon that's actually going to sound pretty good.
Oh. Do you want to wrap up your video?
Yeah.
Because then I'll do a wrap up of the podcast.
Okay. Well, it's been very, very nice to see you. Let us know in the comments if you want to see more of this sort of discussion about the news. So rather than me just telling you all the facts, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of discussion. We also do a podcast, which this entire conversation will also be part of, apart from this bit right here. Yeah, we'd like to see what you think about our approaches. Thank you so very much for sticking with us and right until the end. There's places to subscribe and all these sort of things around here. We'll see you next week, and keep an eye out for demos every week. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra. Bye.